This month of the Peruvian Creole music, I want to show you this book, which I won in a raffle organized by Fundación BBVA, Cantarureando, Canterurías, Songbook and Unpublished Lyrics of Chabuca Granda. Chabuca Granda, 100 Years. María Isabel Granda Larco, we know well, is one of the greatest exponents of our Peruvian Creole or Criolla music, and this book, which looks as if it was two books since it has 157 pages in one side and 163 in the other, is a homage to this great woman. Published by Grupo Editorial Cosas, publishing company of Editorial Letras Imágenes in September 2020, in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. The archive materials belong to the Chabuca Granda Cultural Association. Let's start with Chabuca's own words. She says she is very careful with grammar and she shows us her heart, that she knows Peru and the Peruvians very well. Fernando Eguiluz, in the prologue, tells us the purpose of this book, to bring together the complete work of Chabuca Granda. Adriana Miró Quesada, in the introduction, shows us a woman who can be traditional but also innovative, who plays with the language and creates words such as the ones in the title, Cantarureando, Canterurías, something like singing songs but much more poetic indeed. In this occasion, there are 100 unpublished lyrics, of which even though there is no melody, they help us understand Chabuca Granda in her whole genius as a songwriter and artist. Various close friends and specialists are present here, such as the musician Luis González, who tells anecdotes such as the one in which Chabuca reminds General Velasco, the president of Peru at that time, that she did not make songs as orders, page 13. Or the musician and professor of ethnomusicology, Julio Mendívil, who reminds us that it was Chabuca who opened the doors of the Creole waltz, or Vals Criollo, to the middle classes and Creole elites. That is on page 16. And he takes us to the three periods of our author's work: the longings for an aristocratic Lima, the topics of social injustice, and the turn to Afro-Peruvian genres such as landau and festejo. Unfortunately, as it says on page 20, normally her work is reduced to the first phase. Let's turn to page 26, and on this page we are shown her general work, such as the beautiful waltz Bello Durmiente, for example, on page 28, dedicated to Peru. This segment is accompanied by images and explanations at the bottom of each song. For example, here it says that Bello Durmiente was written in Europe. There is a picture of Cotabambas, where she was born. Beautiful pictures here. There are so many. Let's look at this, El Puente de los Suspiros, or the Bridge of Sighs, so evocative of Barranco, the Lima district where she spent her childhood. Let's look at a very, very little Chabuca Granda. Or let's go to page 52, Fina Estampa, or Fine Mien, dedicated to her father, and probably the best achieved, in my opinion, José Antonio, dedicated to José Antonio de la Valle y García.
Esta es mi flor de la canela.
In any case, the symbol song of Chabuca Granda is La Flor de la Canela, or the cinnamon flower, inspired by Victoria Angulo, as shown in this image from 1976. And Chabuca says, "Let me tell you, the cinnamon flower, a song to which I owe everything, including being before you today. I made it for Mrs. Victoria Angulo, a Lima lady of fine black race, for whom Lima would have to be carpeted so that she could walk it again if she so desired. Godmother of the first group of bearers of the litter of our Lord of Miracles. That is black lineage in Lima. To her and from her this song is a tiny tribute to this admirable race that returns to us with rhythm, with a smile and with kindness, the until now incomprehensible years of insult of slavery, what history has not yet qualified. This is my cinnamon flower." Let's look at the score on page 60, the manuscript on page 61. There are songs, even in French and English, which reflect a woman of exquisite culture who loves Lima deeply and laments how, more than the earthquakes, it is the mayors who destroy Lima. Let's look at Señor Manuel on page 88, song dedicated to Manuel Solari Swain. As she says here, a distinguished journalist from Lima who stubbornly tries to rescue the beautiful, the authentic, the truly endearing of our popular traditions. Different things continue here. The musical work Limeñísima, Christmas carols, Creole Mass, songs dedicated to the Chilean Violeta Parra, dedicated to Javier Herot, jingles, and co-authorships, including the national anthem that she was asked to write. Well, one of the sections of our anthem. So, very, very beautiful. Let's turn the book over, and this smiling and radiant Chabuca Granda welcomes us to her unpublished work, written on every surface she could find, according to her daughter, Teresa Fuller Granda. To those Canterurías that Arianna Gusti warns us not to worry about, no one knows exactly what they are. Poems? Songs? Just let them be, because Chabuca wrote for everything and everyone. Susana Baca highlights Chabuca's approach to black culture and the fact that she recognized the elegance of black people ignored by almost everyone. Carmina Canavino, rest in peace, tells us that Chabuca ascended our people with her cyclopean and wild pen, elevating the Spanish-speaking popular song. Raúl Romero Ceballos tells us that Chabuca's lyrics were complex, extensive, full of metaphors and words that enriched everyday language. The Canterurías begin here, little by little. To places like Chincha, to people like Isaac Lindley or Jesus Vázquez, another great Peruvian singer. To tragic events like Tlatelolco in Mexico. to Apurímac, where she was born, to Argentina in its fight to recover the Malvinas Islands, and along, etc. Many things that nobody knew until 2020, in which this book was published to commemorate her 100 years. And the book ends with this graphic dossier, which is a true marvel. From the faraway Cotabambas in Apurímac, southern Peruvian Andes, where she was born, here we can see her parents, her childhood and youth. Let's look at a teenage Chabuca Granda here. This iconic picture taken by Pepe Casals in 1963, 20 years before she died, with great stars like the French Charles Aznavour or the other Peruvian diva, Ima Sumac. Honestly, this book has made me admire this great woman more, who deeply loved our country, an eternal Peruvian who, although she herself said that she did not have a great voice, to me it seems melodious and to whisper like the fine-tuned garuas or drizzles that she says in José Antonio. A traditional and innovative woman, cultured and elegant, but at the same time a popular one, of partial foreign origin and born in the heart of the Andes, but from Lima, deeply from Lima. Chabuca from Lima, Chabuca from Peru.